Hey, it's Drybear, and today we're going to give you everything you need to know to play and enjoy Megabonk. Megabonk is the latest installment in the roguelite survival game genre, similar to cult classics like Risk of Rain. The game consists of unique runs where you pick a character and start a series of encounters where endless waves of increasingly difficult enemies flood your screen as you collect loot, power-ups, and items that make you stronger over time. The game sports a leaderboard where you can compare your scores on individual runs with others around the globe or just against your friends. Each stage has a boss at the end with a final run boss to test your complete build against. You'll face a myriad of enemies, each with their own style of attacks, but if you die, your run is over and you'll have to start again. Your primary source of power is your equipped weapons. There are many to choose from, each with their own strengths and weaknesses, and by combining them together in clever ways, you can create fun builds. You can spin giant axes, shoot a revolver, drop mines, spin tornadoes, or even drain enemies with blood magic, which is the perfect time to gloss over the stats you'll use for tuning your build as you progress. Some weapons scale well with critical strikes, some prefer a higher count of projectiles, while others may want longer duration or a larger size for their effects. Stacking stats like this can allow you to go from firing one rocket at a time to being a literal artillery unit. But how do characters fit into this equation? Well, that's pretty simple. Aside from their visual appearance, each character has a starting weapon that you will begin the run with and use for its entirety, along with a special passive effect that scales with you through the run. These two implicit effects help steer your build in a direction when you start. For example, the knight Sir Oofy starts with a sword as his weapon and scales up armor every time he levels, making him a great starting platform for a melee-focused build. Aside from your weapons, you can also equip up to 4 tomes. Tomes are a way to scale a specific stat throughout your run if it's important to the build you're making. So how do you collect weapons in tomes? The primary method is leveling up your character. You collect experience by killing enemies and opening pots. Not only does leveling up improve your character's passive effect, but each time you level, you will be granted a random selection of 3 weapons and tomes. It's important to note the rarity of the offerings you're granted as well. The rarity ranges from white, green, blue, purple, yellow, and finally to red rarity. As the rarity goes up, the value of the offering increases as well. As such, a green rarity weapon or tome may increase by a single level when you upgrade it, but if you had a yellow or red rarity, the increase for that single level will be far greater. You can increase the chances you get higher rarity rolls by increasing your luck stat, either through shrines or a luck tome. For this reason, many strong endgame builds utilize heavy scaling on either XP or luck, or even both, to ensure you scale well over time. Next, let's talk about items. These are sources of power separate from weapons and tomes and vary greatly in what they provide. You can have as many as you can possibly collect, and you will find various ways to collect items during a run. They provide a wide range of effects, from granting primary stats to gaining completely new effects like granting mega crits, bonks that give 20 times damage scaling on a single hit, turning healing into pulsing damage, or even making weapon upgrades grant up to 3 stat bonuses instead of 2 each time you level. The most consistent source of items is spending gold, which is a currency you collect from killing monsters and opening pots. The gold can be spent on opening locked chests and merchants sprinkled across the map. In the top left corner of the screen, you will find your current amount of gold, and in the top right corner, you'll see the current price for opening a locked chest. Every time you open a locked chest, the price of the next chest increases. The item that comes out of the chest is random and is affected by luck, just like your level up offerings. Additionally, you will find free chests occasionally. Firstly, these golden chests in the map can be opened without incurring a gold cost. There's even an item that you can earn that grants you a chance to open a chest for free as well. Next, killing elite and challenge enemies along with bosses can drop an opened chest on the ground. They appear opened with glowing lights and can be collected by simply walking over them. You'll also find microwaves occasionally as well. These are simple devices that allow you to choose an item you already own and duplicate it for a gold price. However, once consumed, it will randomly remove one of your other items of the same rarity as the item you're trying to duplicate. So you're consolidating items of one rarity into an item that you really want. It's a method for enhancing a specific part of your build. The rarity rarity of items that get consumed can be denoted by the color of the microwave, matching the rarity structure we discussed earlier. The same can be said of the merchants, as the color of their hat will match the rarity of items they offer. They're technically shady salesmen that taunt you when they vanish, but they do grant you the opportunity to select from 3 different items. The items are priced by their rarity and can be a reliable way to get powerful items without the randomness of chests. Once you select a single item, the merchant will vanish for good. Next, let's talk about your meta progression outside of a single run. By the way, if you're curious about the difference between roguelike with a K and roguelite with a T, roguelite with a T means you have progression that persists between runs. When you first start playing Megabonk, you'll only have access to the starting characters, weapons, tomes, and items. However, each run you will earn silver and be able to spend that silver to permanently unlock additional items. Some just require a silver amount to unlock, but others need you to complete various challenges or achievements to make them available for purchase. You can find these requirements listed on the unlock itself in the menu. Aside from unlocking equipment, there's also a shop that provides necessary boons like unlocking weapon and tome slots so you can hold more at once, as well as granting additional rerolls for when you get offerings you don't want. But wait, there's more! Throughout your run, you will find shrines. The first type of shrine is called a charge shrine, and its name tells you exactly how to activate it. You must stand in its radius and charge it up until the meter fills, and once done, it grants you a free stat bonus. These offerings are also affected by rarity and luck. These stats can grant useful bonuses like extra jumps, which allow you to soar over large hordes of monsters. You'll also find Maui statues that will grant you a free item as well. Keep an eye out for various jars and pots riddled across the map that are opened when you interact with them. They grant you XP, silver, and gold and are an easy way to level up early on in the run. Don't sleep on these, as they can add up to large sums by the end. Next, when you're facing large hordes and things get real tough, you'll look to power-ups that drop randomly from slain enemies on the ground. Each power-up has a purpose and can benefit you in different ways. The green shield makes your character immune to damage for a short time. The blue arrows grant you increased movement speed. The purple lightning bolt gives you attack speed and damage. The gold coin power-up gives you bonus gold based on how many enemies you slay while it's active. The red magnet power-up vacuums all drops on the map to your character when it's activated. The red heart power-up gives you HP when consumed. The light blue stopwatch freezes time and stops enemies from moving or attacking for a short period. And the black and yellow bomb is a nuke that will deal damage to all enemies on screen, and is actually a good way of dealing damage to bosses as well. Let's talk about enemy types. Elite enemies have a golden crown next to them and often drop increased rewards and will have a higher chance of dropping those open chests when defeated. Challenge enemies are spawned by challenge shrines and have 2 crossed purple swords next to their health bar. Periodically, mini bosses will spawn as well. You'll know when they've spawned when a large boss health bar appears at the top of the screen. These mini bosses have even more rewards and open chests on death. You'll also encounter golden and blue skeletons as well, which will run from you when they are first damaged, but you'll want to chase after them since the golden skeletons provide a large amount of gold, and likewise the blue skeletons provide a large amount of XP. You will occasionally encounter unique enemies as well. Currently, Megabonk has 2 unique enemies. When on the forest map, you will find the bush, and on the desert map, you will find the bandit, denoted by a bandit shrine or a sus bush. You'll want to summon each of these and slay them at least once, as they do unlock new equipment in the shop. However, they are both incredibly strong compared to other enemies, so once you've unlocked their rewards, I suggest you consider carefully if you are strong enough to slay them when you first encounter them. A few times per map, you will get swarmed by enemies as well. When a swarm begins, you'll get a text notification at the top of the screen, and for a short while, a large amount of enemies will spawn rapidly around you. It's an excellent test for your current build's strength, and it's a real challenge, but provides an increase in XP, currency, and valuable drops. Just be sure not to get surrounded. Your ultimate goal is to defeat the boss at the end of the map by by finding the boss portal and summoning it. If you're ever lost, you'll see swirling red wind lines that point you towards the boss shrine, and once encountered, it will always be on your minimap so you can see what direction you need to go to. The boss that spawns is based on the map you're currently playing, and they each have their own abilities. So what happens when you defeat the boss? Well, several things. First, you will always be granted a free magnet to pull in all XP and gold drops from across the entire map. Next, based on what tier you're playing on, either you will be done with the run or a portal will open to take you to the next stage. When you start a run, you'll choose a tier to run. Tier 1 only has 1 stage, Tier 2 has 2 stages, and Tier 3, unsurprisingly, has 3 stages. For example, if you clear the boss on the first stage of a Tier 2 run, a portal will open that takes you to the second stage. But if you're on a Tier 2 run and defeat the boss on the second stage, the run will end. The Big Macho is the final boss of a run in Stage 3 of a Tier 3 run, and this is a unique encounter. In this final encounter, no enemies will spawn like normal. It's just you versus the big bad. However, there are special mechanics to be aware of. First, upon entering, all of your weapons except your starter weapon will be removed temporarily. As the final boss's HP reaches 2/3, it will trigger a phase transition. The boss will glow blue and become immune to damage, and shield shrines will spawn around the arena. These are simple charge shrines that you need to run over to and stand in their area until they break, just like a normal charge shrine. But be quick about it because the boss will regenerate health until you break the last of the 3 shrines, which will make it damageable again. Once you defeat the 3rd boss of the Tier 3 run, there are no more stages. Now let's talk about getting a high score. Your first few runs will undoubtedly be low scores, but if you check the leaderboards, you'll see some big numbers. So what's the difference? The key to raising your score is the difficulty stat. Difficulty is a stat like any other that makes enemies more numerous and stronger as it increases. This affects every enemy, including elites, challenge, mini-bosses, uniques, and even major bosses. So you're probably asking, why would you make things harder for yourself? Well, harder enemies mean more loot, more currency, and of course, a higher score. So to increase your score, you must increase your difficulty. You can do this by collecting a difficulty tome, selecting difficulty from charge shrine offerings, as well as difficulty shrines that look like little sticks with a skull on top of them throughout the map. The other method is taking advantage of boss shrines. These are the charcoal and red praying figures that once activated will double all of the boss spawns that you have on that run. Meaning when you activate one boss shrine, instead of spawning one boss the next time a boss spawns, you'll spawn 2. This combined with difficulty will greatly increase the challenge, but also increase your final score if you manage to survive. Lastly, we need to talk about the final swarm and the stage timer. You've noticed at the top center of the screen is a timer that counts down. If this timer reaches 0, it will trigger the final swarm, which will be denoted by a text message. Shades will begin to spawn and will increase both in strength and number as time goes on. The longer you survive, the more loot and drops you'll collect, you'll increase your score, and also increase the amount of silver you earn from that run. However, you need to take caution. These shades can fly and are incredibly pushy, meaning they will throw you around like a bouncy ball. This often results in them pushing you away from the portal you're trying to escape from or away from power-ups that might make you safe. And yes, there is also a final swarm at the end of a Tier 3 final boss that allows you to increase your score further before closing it out. It's worth mentioning that once a stage boss is defeated, the timer will be reduced from whatever it currently is to 10 seconds and then start counting down to 0. Meaning if you slay the stage boss early, you'll end up wasting valuable time for farming resources. Finally, you can check or uncheck weapons, tomes, and items from appearing in your run at all if you choose, except for the starting equipment items, and you can do this from the menu before you start your run. Which means if you know what kind of builds you're going for before you start your run, you can do this to reduce the offering pool to specialize with whatever you're envisioning. And there you have it. Enjoy your bonking. If you found value in today's video, leave a like down below, leave a comment for the algorithm to help this video get seen by more people, and don't forget to check out my other channels for other content and other stuff and other things.